Good morning, America. This is the Conscious Hour. Let's get into what's happening in Iran. Are they really isolated financially and dependent on the U.S. dollar? And are we going to win this war?
Iran's sitting in the catbird seat right now. They are not isolated as Washington, D.C., and particularly Scott Bessent are wont to believe. I put up an article last night at sonar21.com that it goes into this in pretty great detail. Why Bessent's, he's already announced that he's launched Operation Economic Fury, and then he's now going to launch Operation Really Economic Fury, or a bigger economic fury, something like that. The problem with that is he's operating from a set of assumptions that A, Iran has no alternative but to use the US dollar. Two, Iran is completely blocked in. Their only access to the outside world is through the Strait of Hormuz, and the United States has this massive blockade in place. Well, the facts are otherwise. Unlike 2015, when Iran was effectively surrounded, including Russia and China had signed on to the JCPOA sanctions, now those don't exist. The JCPOA sanctions are still in place, but Russia and China told the United States to go, and the United Nations to go pound sand, that they weren't going to abide by them. They've opened up significant trade relations. In fact, it was within weeks of the JCPOA being walked away from by Donald Trump, Russia and China moved quickly to establish and begin joint military exercises with Iran. The planning for those exercises started, I believe, in July of 2018. Trump had walked away in May of 2018 from the JCPOA. So you already had the beginnings of military cooperation between Iran, China, and Russia. That cooperation has expanded significantly to economic cooperation, as well as provision of military equipment, essential military equipment, as well as intelligence to Iran during the war with the United States. So far from being isolated, Iran's now got more open borders and more trade opportunities today than it had 10 years ago, because it can go north through the Caspian Sea, west through Tajikistan, over the east, the new new Silk Highway, and then across the border with Pakistan. Pakistan has opened 6 land routes into Iran. Now, all this comes up against the United States saying, oh, we're going to have this blockade. We got a wall of steel. Well, the entire U.S. military is in a state of near disaster. We've seen it now. It's not just the reports that the Abraham Lincoln is short of food and that sailors were trying to commit suicide. It's across the Navy. I've spoken with the mothers of 2 sailors and 1 Marine. A mother whose son served on the Tripoli, another mother whose son just came off the submarine. I didn't get the submarine's name, and the mother of a Marine off the Boxer. All told the same damn story. Their kids came home losing between 10 and 30 pounds apiece. Their kids had terrible food, no mail. The support system sucked. Didn't matter what.
Imagine that. Imagine your kids coming home losing 10 to 30 pounds, and then you got Pete Hegseth says we're standing behind our troops and they're getting fed regularly, and we've got it under control.
Whether you were on something like the Tripoli, a destroyer, or the Boxer, which is a Marine amphibious ship, or a submarine, and we all know it applies as well to the USS Abraham Lincoln, that what happened is some moron or group of morons at the Department of War, back in the day when it was called Department of Defense, said, you know what, we got these 4 fast combat supply ships. We could save $30 million per ship if we just get rid of 2 of them. Oh, great idea, guys, because those 4 ships supply basically all all the ammunition and the food and the hygiene products that the ships need. And you got to have the fast combat ships to keep up with the aircraft carriers and destroyers, etc. Yeah, so they got rid of those. So they cut the force in half. And then when they got the warehouses where they stored all this stuff that they were going to deliver, it got blown up in Bahrain and United Arab Emirates. Whoops. So now they're short across the board, and yet they're expected to go out and conduct intercept operations at a time when you got sailors lining up to commit suicide. And oh, by the way, forgot to mention, before that Tripoli deployed, they decided they don't need any chaplains on board. Let's pull them off. So in other words, Donald Trump and Pete Hegseth have created a tremendous shit show.
And folks, that's it for right now on this first part of the update. Give me your comments, and then please do me a favor. What's the solution? Just put it in the message. How do we get out of this predicament? We've got two predicaments. One, we aren't supporting our troops. Two, we're spending how many hundreds of millions of dollars per hour? We're talking in the billions, and by the time this thing is done, in the trillions. So what do we do? Leave your comments, and then ask me a question. If you want something covered or want me to focus on something, let me know. Thanks for tuning into the Conscious Hour. Remember, it's your Conscious Hour, and it's our time to wake up and do one thing. Bring some sanity back to the world. How about that, you know? Bring it all together. Let's bring it all together, folks. Come on. Thanks for tuning in.